Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana. So we got some great news about to happen.
Yes. Hold on. But before we actually talk about that, we are getting ready to be together. And,
yes, I'm so excited.
We have to talk about them.
Okay. Are you coming in? I think we're going to get to meet with John Addison. Do you think so?
Okay. Well, I was going to text. No, but I was going to text you guys tonight after I finished because I think I'm picking y'all up from the airport on Wednesday. So I'll confirm with her. But I was going to tell you, I need to know all the important things, like what are you going to wear?
Oh, yeah. Well, we already talked about that. So we're going to dress casual to meet John Addison. And we're going to dress up a little bit more for John. You know, like John is usually like business casual.
Yeah.
So casual off the plane to John Addison, casual anything else we do, and then a little business casual with dinner with John and the round table.
Yeah, love it.
Cloud and whatever.
Okay, perfect. Love it. I'm so excited about this. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
We'll have to do an episode on our ahas from Dr. Henry Cloud and John Maxwell.
For sure.
Yes. Okay, so we're doing a different kind of episode today because we recently launched our course on influence, Everything Life and Influence, about how to multiply your life and business with the power of influence. And we had really great feedback, and we had a lot of people ask us about the recording. So today, actually, as listeners are hearing this episode, we wanted to share a little bit about the course because today you can actually purchase the recording of the course. And it's not just the recording. It's actually like the modules broken down, the workbook, the interviews that we did with the 4 amazing influencers that we had on the course.
So good.
They just, oh my gosh, all of them were amazing. And so we wanted to we have had a lot of questions about like who should take the course and what's the course about. So we wanted to just go over kind of quickly a little bit about what they're going to learn in the course and what they're going to get. And I just loved doing it. I mean, I felt like just the researching and putting it together has made so many things come to my Raz lately on it.
Yeah. I think once you kind of start to realize that, you start to look for it in places and you start to even look back in your life and see, it's easier to look back in your life and see your progress and see what made the biggest difference. And I think when you and I both look back in our life, the thing that made the biggest opportunities and doors open for us was creating influence. And maybe in the beginning it was a little bit by happenstance, and then also making the decision of, oh, okay, this is important. If I want to look different than every other realtor out there, I've got to build influence. And you know, I have to scream my name has to be at the top of people's mind, not at the bottom.
Yep, totally. One of the things we talked about in the beginning is just why influence is important. And I think a lot of times people now just hear this, everybody's an influencer, but they don't really understand that there's specific formulas and strategies and things that you can do to attract the people that you want into your life instead of feeling like you're chasing them, whether that's your real estate clients for your business, agents because you're trying to grow, your brokerage or whatever that looks like. It's all the same thing. It's all about attracting. And so we came up with a really specific formula, multiple ones of them, but where we broke down the 4 C's of influence, and then we share examples in the course. And then we also, like I said, interviewed 4 great friends of ours who shared on the 4 different C's of influence. And we gave a lot of modules, but I think one of the things that is most helpful for people is actually just doing the work that we had them do, like the self-work, like what does influence even mean to them, writing that down. And what do you think of when you think of someone who has influence? And then really walking through each of the modules, which is what our listeners will get in the course when they purchase that.
Yeah. I had a call with a top producer the other day, and what I realized was, again, like when you talk about all this, you start to see it. I realized that part of the problem was there was never clarity on their part about what they wanted the end to look like. What do I want to do? No one ever gets into the real estate business and says, you know what, I'm going to have a point in my life where I'm going to be burnt out. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be not challenged. I'm going to be not motivated to do this anymore. And I don't want any options yet because they haven't built that influence to, number one, have a business that is an asset or to even realize what other doors they want it to open.
Yeah.
they're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to this person, I told him a story about someone who had reached out to me years ago and said, Linda, I need your help. Someone told me that you were actually able to take your business and turn it over to someone else. And, I'm way past when I should be gone. And when we actually looked at their business, they were grinding it out every day. They didn't use the leverage of influence. They
Yep.
were every day hammering the phones and had been for years and years. And instead of thinking, okay, what would be a great form of leverage? Oh, if I built influence and my name was top of people's mind and people, knew who I was, that would open so many doors and make such a difference. And I just don't think people understand that you have to make a decisive decision that you are going to create influence, because
Yeah.
it's the only way you're going to stand out, and it's the only way you're going to have more and more opportunities.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree with all that. We'll kind of give them a sneak peek of the
Yep.
4 C's, but not go. So what we walk you through in the course, and we believe that this is honestly, we talked about this, Linda and I talked about this, and this has been the formula that we have been able to bring a lot of talent into our lives, create 7-figure businesses, lead great teams, have more doors open. I don't even remember what else we had on our
Yeah, I
list.
think it was attract the right talent to
Yeah.
your organizations.
Yeah, yep, attract. And so what we came up with to share with anybody who's looking to do the same thing are the 4 C's. And the first one is clarity. So we really take time walking you through, why do you want to have influence? Who do you want it for? Who's your avatar? And then helping you uncover your unique abilities. And so that's kind of the first piece of it, is getting the clarity on why, how, who, all of those things, because it's easy to just say, I just want to have influence. And then when you aren't clear and you don't have the clarity, the first C, then really nothing else can fall into place after that.
Well, and I was thinking about my daughter and I were talking the other day about a podcast person that we both like to follow their stuff, but they made a commitment on the front end to, I don't think they were clear about what they wanted the podcast to do, because on the front end, they made this unrealistic amount of time that they were going to do it.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden you're now into this commitment and you don't have the energy or the passion to do it. So getting clear and being authentic and figuring out who you are and what your unique ability is going to keep you motivated, energized, and excited. Because any great opportunity is going to need you to stay committed long term. Nobody builds a great real estate business, quickly and then it's over. It takes time on task. And so that means you have to be really passionate about whatever it is you're serving people with, how you're serving them.
That reminds me of how we just heard Ken Pozek, our friend. We didn't have Ken back on. We've had him on a couple of times, and he said, people think I just stumbled upon this, when really I've done 525 professional videos on YouTube in the last, however, 3 years or whatever, because that was the commitment. His commitment was just stick with it long term. Yep. So first you want to get clarity. We're going to talk about commitment at the end. The second C is connection. And this is such a big part of influence, understanding how connection happens, learning how to be authentically you, using your failures to connect. One of the biggest pieces of feedback that we get, for which Linda and I are so appreciative of why you guys listen to us, is because we're real and we're authentic and we're us. And whether it's, talking about who knows what, or helping with business ideas, or just sharing things that we failed in, you have to have the connection piece when you want to have influence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think connection is super important. And, I think part of connection is learning to be more interested in the other person than you are in yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's where sometimes you being willing to share your failures and your hardships really causes people to connect. And, I tell you, I don't know if you've watched this or not, but I have fallen in love with Jelly Roll's music. Have you heard anything by Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
Okay. I Need a Favor. I Need a Savior. I don't know what all the names are,
Yes.
but they're so flipping good. I mean, I only talk to God when I need a favor. I mean, I don't know what the names of them are, but I love them, right? Well, I had no idea who he was until all of a sudden he walks across the stage at the CMA, like for the writers part. I'm like, who is this guy? So a documentary came out. And when I watched the documentary, what really jumped out at me, it's got a lot of really bad language. You have to really.
Where was the documentary? I haven't seen it.
It's called oh gosh, what is it called? Just Google, it's on Hulu. It's called
Oh
Jelly
my
Roll.
gosh, I'm watching it tonight.
You have
Okay.
to watch it. But let me tell you what I thought about was he connects with his people so much, Dana, because
Wow.
his failures are their failures.
Yeah.
His hardships are their hardships.
Yeah.
I went away going, I love this guy because I think he has such a calling that he doesn't even know he's been given. And
Wow.
he is faith-based. I mean, gosh, you won't think it by his language, but I think about, I love Jesus, but I cuss a
That's,
little.
I was just going to say, hopefully he has that
he,
t-shirt.
he could say, I love Jesus, but I cuss a lot.
Yeah.
But what you got to look around all that and say, look at that audience that just loves this guy and they
Yeah.
see him as someone who's actually saved them
Yeah.
from some of their whatever they're trying to be saved from. And I think, man, he has such a connection, and it's all because he's willing to say, I can't believe I'm here. I
Yeah.
have screwed up so many times. I
Yeah.
should not get to be here, and so I think so many people relate when you think about connection. It's not saying how great you are and proving all your successes.
Yeah.
People don't connect to that.
Yep, I totally agree. Yep. Well, and that walks right into our third C of influence, which is contribution. And it's just truly giving without getting in return. And we talk a
Yeah.
lot about this in the course.
And everybody has something to give. I think it takes you a while to understand what that is, but I think your life and your journey gives you what you're supposed to give back to the world. I think the things that you're on a journey to figure out, the things that you're have struggled with, things that you see as a problem that you've overcome, those
Yep.
are all things that are things you are to contribute back into the world. And to me, the highest level of success is when you can get to that place. And I think the people who make the most money are those who finally get to a place where they understand they're there to give back and
Yep.
contribute to the world. And then I always say, when you give value to the world, you can't keep the money away.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah, I like a lot how we talked about the law of reciprocity in our course on this one, and we really kind of break down what that looks like. And truly, in all four of the friends that we interviewed, all four of them did talk about how they just give and they don't expect anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk through some examples, and I just think that's just such a huge one, and just being really intentional with coming from contribution and how it can lead to big influence and big opportunities, like you said. And then our fourth C, to wrap it up, is the commitment part, and that's just really getting into action when you want to have influence and you want to see those opportunities and you want to be able to attract people, and moving your needle forward to begin building the influence that you want. And or I think too, like, even if people already have a little bit of influence, it's almost like doubling down and growing it even more and truly making the commitment to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think on commitment, you have to understand it's not that all your fear has to go away, not that it has to wait till it's all perfect. You have to be so committed that you figure things out along the way. And I think that's what stops a lot of people, is they're afraid that I'm not ready to make the commitment, when in fact the commitment is what forces you to get ready.
Yeah, I was just actually talking about that with somebody today, because they were saying that they just didn't feel like that they were ready to step into a role. And I'm like, you've obviously never heard any of us talk about what Linda says about how you need to pee. You might want to pee your pants first. She's like, no, that doesn't sound fun to me.
Well, that's what Depends are for. So just put those little Depends on and get on after it.
That's right. That's right. There's a quote that we have in our course that we talk about, and it says, don't chase people, be an example, attract them, work hard and be yourself. The people who belong in your life will come find you and stay if you just do your thing. And I think that that's so true. And so our hope and intention is that with this course, you'll truly be able to take these things and implement them, and not only attract the right people into your life, but live a little bit of an easier life, because when you have influence and things are starting to come to you because of the hard work and because you've been authentic and because you've not been afraid to make the commitments and you come from contribution and all those things, it does make things a little bit easier. Not that every day is easy, but it does make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's like I was coaching somebody the other day and I said, it's hard because you're in the 2X, you're not in the 10X.
Yeah.
And part of being in the 10X is you've committed, you've done the hard work, you're willing to stay in it long term. And the 2X is where you're half in, half out, and you're not really making commitments that scare you. You're just kind of doing what is easy and you already know how to do.
Yeah, funny because I know Press sent me that book and I just had been in the middle of so many others. I hadn't read it and I just started it last night. So I'm really excited to get into that one still.
Awesome. Can't wait to see what you love about it. And so remember, if you have not, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is a 5-star review, and pass this podcast along to anyone that you think would benefit from these kinds of conversations. And we'd also love to hear on influence. What are some questions that you have about influence, or how to get it, what to do, all of that. And Dana, do we have a way to let them know where they're going to find the recording? I don't even know where the recording is.
Yep. So you can purchase the recording. We are only going to have the recording for sale for the next 7 days, I believe. So Tuesday to Tuesday. And then we may open it up for a second round too. But right now we're just going to have a quick flash sale on it. And you can go to everythinglifeandinfluence.com. You can also go to Everything Life and Real Estate. I think we have it on both to purchase the course. But of course, if you have any issues or questions, just reach out to us. And truly, we'd love to hear how, as you guys are working through the course on your own, what you're thinking. If you have questions about any of it, you're going to get pages and pages of the formulas that we've created and come up with. Those of you that have teams or that you lead teams, it's such great stuff to take back and actually do with your team. And work through these pages. And we just hope that it'll give you guys really good clarity on growing your influence like it has for us.
Yeah. And any questions, you can put them to info@Everything Life and Real Estate, and that will help us create Influence version 2.0.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Awesome.
Dana, I'll see you Wednesday morning.
See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.